Hi Grandma's Dollies. As y'all can tell by the title, I'm going to be sharing things that I wish I knew before I got my nose pierced. Your piercing is bound to get caught on things depending on the type of piercing you have. If you have a hoop piercing, be prepared for that to get caught on things. If you have a dangle piercing, even if it's a stud, be prepared for it to be caught on things. It just depends on the situation. So I would say if your piercing gets caught on anything, do not tug it off. What I want you to do is find the way for how the piece got stuck on the piercing and like loop it out that way. Uno reverse it. Okay, so the healing process, it's just like a regular scab that's being healed. Therefore, you don't want to pick at a scab, do you? No, because it's going to take longer for it to heal. Now, that goes with how you don't want to move the piercing once it's in there and you're waiting for the piercing to heal, because you're going to keep on refreshing the scab. Alright, also, use rubbing alcohol before you pierce yourself on the needle in the nose, and then after, sure, yes, do that. But do not use rubbing alcohol long term for a cleaner, because rubbing alcohol is so drying for the skin. With how we need that wound to be fresh so the healing process can go smoothly, with rubbing alcohol, that's going to totally do the opposite. It's not gonna be fresh. It's gonna be just ugly. What I use is this H2O Ocean Sea Salt. If I find this on Amazon, I'll leave it in the description. You can find piercing cleaning stuff at beauty supply stores as well as Spencer's and Hot Topic. I got mine at Spencer's because at my mall, Spencer's always has these cleaners. Another thing you could do is DIY your own sea salt water. Get some sea salt, organic sea salt from the corner store if they have that, Walmart, Target, and then mix it up with some warm water. I'm not sure exactly what to do to the teapot, so go ahead and give that a nice search on YouTube, because there's YouTube videos for everything. Here's a heads up: if you're sick, do not go out to get your nose piercing, because if you're gonna be, okay, it depends on what kind of sickness. So if you're gonna be sneezing or blowing your nose all the time, you shouldn't be getting a nose piercing, because that's going to hurt so bad. I am healing from an infection on this side of my nostril, and it's painful every time I try to blow my nose. My right nostril is itchy too, only because whenever a scab heals, you're going to get that itchiness, right? So yeah, that's what I got right now, itchiness. It doesn't necessarily hurt unless I do accidentally move the piercing. So with buying your jewelry, it really depends on what you personally like, of course. So when you first get your piercing, it's going to have to be a basic stud for what's in your nose, but after your piercing heals, for whenever that is, I believe it's like up to 6 weeks. I could be wrong. I would suggest searching that up too. Anyways, after your piercing heals, then that's whenever you can play around with different types of piercings. Like, look how I can so easily take this in and then take it out. For my right nostril, I can't use L-shaped piercings because I pierced my nose on my own. I used a thumbtack at first and then a safety pin, and whew, I pierced the left side straight but the right side crooked, so L shapes are not in the picture for me. Anything that's semi-straight is. So of course the straight piercings, which by the way will fall off when you sleep. If you get the straight bar piercings, it's going to fall off when you go to sleep, I promise. But these don't, which I'm happy for. Sometimes I like bump my nose piercing and it like twists up and then comes out, but that hasn't happened when I slept. It's really only happened like 2 times, and I've had these in for a while. By the way, if you're interested in the 18 pack of dangle piercings I got, I'm gonna leave the YouTube video down in the description so you can watch that. I'm also gonna leave the link if you're just liking what you see already and you just want to go ahead and make that pretty purchase. But yeah, so if you're going to pierce yourself, make sure to sterilize that needle. Use a lighter of any sort or match, whatever you got, and have that run over the needle you're going to use a couple times. And then after you're done with that, have the needle soak into rubbing alcohol for a little bit. I would say up to at least 5 minutes, and then go ahead and pierce. Yes, if you get a piercing kit, I don't know how they work, but what I do know is that the nose piercing needle has a hole at the end of the bar, and so yeah, you punch it through, go all the way in through that hole, and then once you reach the tip of the needle, you're going to have like a hole. It's kind of like a straw. That's the way I can explain it. It's kind of like a straw. So what you do is you have your stud through that hole, and then you just pull out the rest of the needle through the bottom end of your nostril, and yeah, because of that you now have a stud in your nose. If you're piercing yourself, do not do what I did and punch through each layer of skin individually. Now, you need to rip off the band-aid, metaphorically. Punch it in all at once, because that's going to hurt less. I know it seems like it won't, just, you know, thinking too much into it, but I promise you, if you go slowly, you are going to be torturing yourself. That's gonna hurt more. Also, here's another tip. Like I said, I don't know about the piercing kits, but clamps are basically scissors that look like this, and yeah, it's exactly what the picture looks like. You just clamp it onto your nostril, then through the 2 holes of the mouthpiece, just punch the needle through, and the clamps are going to make sure that you don't end up with the crooked pierce like I did, because the L shape piercings are so fun. It took me a while to learn how they go in the nose, as well as the hoop piercings, but all you do is counterclockwise. Just play around with going to the left and right side. Yeah, they're really fun. I like it a lot. Okay, here's the last thing I want to say, and that is, do not be like me and forget about cleaning up the piercings after you already have your stuff pierced, because you're going to get an infection. Like I said, this side is already healing from an infection. Yeah, so always just make sure to deep clean your piercings every once in a while. What I mean by that is, yeah, move your piercing around because you don't have an infection yet, but you got to make sure that nothing's inside of the piercing. and use your handy dandy sea salt stuff. If you want to see more content that I post, which is a lot of fashion stuff along with other random stuff, but fashion stuff for the main niche, go ahead and subscribe, become a member of Grandma's Dolly's gang. That was so gay. Sorry, I don't mean to. Anyways, bye.